It's now spring in the Blue Mountains and the gardens here look stunning. They're full of the most beautiful colours and scents and insects that can't believe their luck. One of those insects, as you can probably hear, I'm not sure, is the cicada. We do get cicadas in the Blue Mountains, and this year is a cicada year with a vengeance. They say they only come out every 7 years or so, and I can't remember when the last cicada season was, but it was a fair while ago. I would say pre-COVID. For those who don't live with cicadas, they develop underground as nymphs, which finally dig their way out and climb trees where they shed their last skins and emerge with wings. The cicadas in the mountains seem to be pretty much all masked devils. In Sydney, you get more variety. And they end up everywhere. I'm always having to rescue them from roads and driveways and putting them on trees because they can be a bit dazed and flummoxed when they first come out of their shells. They only live for a few weeks, but they certainly make themselves felt because they come out in a huge mass and then the males sing in chorus. You can see this one thrumming its abdomen to make the noise. Can you hear the noise? It's really deafening. So yeah, new beginnings for the cicadas and new beginnings for me because I've recently started a new book, a springtime book. I don't know when I'll finish it, maybe autumn, who knows. I don't know if it will ever get published, but we'll see. Meanwhile, I have all this blossoming around to inspire me. My own garden is looking pretty nice this year. The waratahs are gorgeous. And my weird little Florida stink bush is flowering furiously. There's such weird flowers. And my azaleas this year are a real treat. And since I'm talking about blossoms and new beginnings and gardens, I thought I might show you some footage I took at this year's Leura Garden Festival. I know I went last year and I showed you footage from last year, but this year a few new gardens have been open for the festival, so I figured you might want to see them. I've walked past Carinya a million times, and it's one of my favourite Leura houses, so I was stoked to learn that it was going to be an open festival garden for the first time this year. Apparently the owner looks after all of it himself. I honestly don't know how he keeps all the hedges clipped. This house is one of the few old houses in Leura that still has its original tennis court. You see gardens with the old spot where the tennis court used to be, but very few functioning courts still left. There's even a beehive. The next new garden in the festival is called Himalaya, and the day I went it featured a string trio, but the cicadas practically drowned them out. This garden featured a bit of an azalea maze. But its real draw card was the view. And its view wasn't even as spectacular as the view next door in the garden called Hill of Grace. The front garden of Hill of Grace features a magnificent display of clivias, as well as a bit of a Japanese-themed corner. But when you head out the back, that's when you're really blown away. It's so steep back there that the whole rear garden is a series of terraces, with an actual waterfall. And the most extraordinary azalea hedges. It really is breathtaking. So yeah, how could anyone not find gardens like that uplifting and inspiring and fascinating and full of ingenious structure and arrangement, all of which you need when you're starting a new book. So now I'm going to buckle down and try and start writing, and hope that the cicadas don't distract me too much. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, happy reading and writing and looking at gardens.